Hi, I'm Spike Spangle, once again here with Alex Perez, the founder of Spectrum Advisory Group, focusing specifically on police officers, folks just like yourselves. Alex, why and how often do you actually see that folks are underinsured? I mean, we get insurance while we're working. Is that enough?
Not necessarily, Spike. I always see officers that are underinsured, probably 100% of the time, because typically they see it as a cost. They don't see it as a benefit. So almost every time I see them underinsured for themselves, for their spouse, and especially their kids.
Well, but they're covered under the line of duty. So how often are policies like that, are they actually kicked in?
Can I give you a statistic?
Sure.
Officers are more likely to get killed outside the line of duty. In the line of duty, they're more likely to win the lottery or to get struck by lightning. That's how it's not going to happen very often. So having outside insurance is extremely important.
And part of what you and I have talked about before is that even though it rarely happens inside the line of duty, our police officers, men and women, tend to have a shorter lifespan because of the stress they've been through, what they've gone through in their bodies and their careers. So you talk about having other kinds of insurance. We talked about term, that you pay in, it vanishes once the term is over. Whole, you can have rates, and then we've talked about indexing, where you can have it, you're putting in cash, but then you can also base it on the Standard & Poor's 500 or larger, broader indexes. What kinds do you talk about having then if we want to have insurance outside of the work plan?
There's two types I typically recommend, Spike. I typically recommend term insurance or index universal life policies. And it depends on what some of their other goals are. For example, if they're accumulating money outside and they're older, I typically will go with a term policy. If they're younger and have the ability to save for a longer period of time, I typically will go the IUL route, the Index Universal Life route, because they actually can accumulate more money and have the policy longer for their life. So, it depends on where they're on in their life, but it's either going to be a term policy or it's going to be an IUL policy.
And you've also mentioned this before. A lot of officers will come to you and say, I'm covered. I don't really need life insurance because I'm covered on the job. And as we're saying is that very rarely do we need the life insurance policy while we're working. Can you tell me other benefits then of using an IUL?
When they have a policy through work in the line of duty or whatnot, it's typically for 1 time their salary. That's not enough. That's typically $75,000. So looking outside the typical workplace, IULs, you can save for college. You can save for other type of goals. You can take loans against it. And the beautiful part of that, all that is tax-free income to you as a household. So there are many different benefits of having an IUL policy in place in the event that you do pass away. But the other part is if you don't pass away, you can utilize cash value to accomplish a lot of other goals in your life.
And maybe you can talk to me a little bit about the taxation on this. So I take this with what? Post-tax dollars. So I take it from my salary and eventually I'm going to have to declare that on my tax return. So this goes in post-tax. What about the tax advantage while it's in there?
It's tax deferred. So while it's accumulating cash value, you don't pay a dime in tax. When you take a distribution in the form of a loan, you don't pay taxes on that money either. So it's a beautiful product if you just construct it the right way.
Right. Even though you are covered through your work plan, very likely 1 times your salary, if something were to happen to you, probably is not going to go very far for your family. So the benefits of having outside life insurance could be vast to you and your family. If you'd like more information about it from Alex, just click on the link below. You can schedule an appointment and talk with the team from Spectrum Advisory Group.